Welcome back to che205. In this video, I'll be talking about how we can automate Excel to apply goal seek and find roots of multiple functions without us interacting with the spreadsheet. So, for goal seek, you have to set the cell. Let's say I want to calculate the root for the equation of state, but for multiple pressure values. So I have pressure varying from 10 to 20, and for every pressure I want to calculate the V such that f of V is 0. So what you do is you put your guess values in this column. So let's say I'm going to guess the value would be 4 for all of them, right? And then you implement the equation into this cell as you did before. So here's the equation of state I already implemented in here. Reference to the constants that you see here and the V value which is in this column. Alright, so this is the equation of state, and if you hit enter, you see that it's not 0. So what you do is you drag this cell down to at least populate the equation corresponding to other V values. So now for every V impression I have the f of V. The goal is actually to make f of V 0 here by changing the V value. So what you do is you have to activate your developer first, and if you don't see developer in the ribbon in Mac, you go to Excel, Preferences, and then you go to ribbon. Then make sure your developer is activated here. In fact, it's good to have all of them actually checked. So I already checked them out, including a developer. In Windows, there should be similar option. Either in Excel you have preferences, or maybe you have options. So either should be fine. You go in there and then activate the developer. If you have any problem with Windows, let me know so I can post another video clip on how you can apply developer and macro in Windows version of spreadsheet. Okay, so I go back and click on f of v here. Then I go to developer and then click my macros. And I have it here. So let me close that. Let me click on macro one more time. So here's my macro. Now for the first time, because you don't have this function, you can just put some name here. I just put find volume. This is just a name, and as soon as you put the name, you can click on create. Now, because I have developed this macro before, I'm not going to click on create anymore. I'll just click edit. But in your case, you should actually call create because you're just seeing that for the first time. Okay, so let me edit. All right. So here's the VBA scripts that I have written before. Every script actually starts with a sub, and then the name of the macro that we put with open close parentheses, nothing in here, and then end sub. So these blue words, by the way, these are MATLAB keywords. You have to type exactly. Every line starts with code is a comment line. That means spreadsheet will discard those lines. Those are just for our information. All right, so now what I'm going to do is between the sub and end sub, I'm going to write some commands that automate the goal seek running from here all the way to the bottom of this column. Okay, so we're going to start while. We're going to use while command. While command in VBA actually operates until the condition in front of while is not satisfied. So while always come with another keyword when, and everything in between will be repeated as long as the condition in front of the while is satisfied. So the condition we have here is active cell dot value, which means the value of the active cell is not 0. So this is inequality. As long as this value is not 0, which means as long as this value is not 0, then we're going to operate over these commands. VBA is object-oriented programming. If you're not familiar with object-oriented programming, I posted 2 links. Look at the syllabus. One is on object-oriented programming, the other one I think is VBA, so at least these links get you up to speed. It's a very short, they're very short tutorials. I really encourage you to take a look at them. All right. Okay, so now I have my active cell value here activated. So I'm going to click on this cell, by the way. And now this is going to be my active cell. The value of it is non-zero, so I should be executing these commands if I run my macro later on. Alright, so now we're going to apply goal seek, and to do so we say active cell dot goal seek, which means apply goal seek to the current active cell by setting the goal equal to 0, so goal colon equals 0, and then comma. Then by changing this, by changing the set corresponding to the volume, right? So we have to change this volume until we get the f of equal to 0. And to do so, we say changing cell equals the active cell, which is this cell. Still, this is active. But then we have to apply an offset to this cell because the V is sitting one cell to the left of this cell. So we say active cell and then apply offset. Same row, which means we're not going to change the row. In offset, you get two numbers. The first one refers to the offsets along the rows, and then the second is offsets along the column. So we're not going to change the row. It would offset in the row to be 0, and then offset along the column would be -1. +1 means going one column to the right, -1 means go one column to the left. And the cell corresponding to volume that we're going to change in goal seek is sitting one cell to the left of f of v, so that's why we have to set offset 0 -1. And then we're going to pick up that cell, which is range A1, which means once we've moved to this cell, we're going to pick that cell, which is cell A1 in the current reference frame. Okay. Now you see that I put space here and underscore, which means continuation symbol. It means everything comes after underscore goes to the next line in case your line is long and you cannot write it within the width of the window, then you can use this space and underscore as a continuation symbol. Alright, so after that, so this line applies goal seek, and it's going to find the root here. Then we have to move to the next cell and apply the goal seek again. And to do that, we're gonna select the next cell. So here's select the next cell with the offset of 1, 0. So if you're sitting here, the offset 1, 0 would be one row down and the same column because the column offset is 0. So then we're going to select the next cell right here, which I'm clicking on, and that will be the next cell we want to apply the goal seek, and that's the bottom of this. It's right at the end of this line. After which we go up and check the condition. If the value of the active cell is not 0, which means if this is not 0, then we have to iterate, which means apply goal seek again, all the way until we get to this cell. Actually, to this cell. So this cell is, the value of this cell is blank, or it doesn't have any value, so it's blank, which means 0 in the spreadsheet. So the spreadsheet interprets any blank cell as a cell with 0 value. And that is when the condition now is not satisfied, because the value of the cell would be 0 when we are sitting here, and that means this while will be broken. The while we're going to stop the while is going to stop, and the whole script is going to end because there's nothing else after when. All right, so I think this is the script. Now the way to run it is you click on the macro or on the script, then you go to the run menu on the top, and then you just, oh, by the way, you have to put the active cell right here in the beginning, right? And then you go and click on your script and you go to run and then run. There you go. It quickly sweeps through all the values. You see that now my initial guesses have changed to basically the root, and you see f of v is 0 for all of these pressures. So that's how we can apply the first automated script, which is called VBA script, in Excel to find the root using goal seek. All right. So I hope this is clear. I'm gonna put more VBA scripts in the coming sessions, in the coming weeks. So you're going to see more of this in the coming days. All right, so thanks a lot for watching and stay tuned.